Owl who was afraid of the dark. Sometimes the thing you're most afraid of is the exact thing you were born to master. This is a story about a young owl who spent his whole life avoiding the night, until the night finally found him. Deep in an ancient forest, where the trees grew so tall they touched the clouds, there lived a young owl named Orin. Orin was different from every other owl in the forest. While the other owlets slept peacefully through the day and opened their eyes with excitement the moment the sun went down, Orin dreaded it. Because Orin was afraid of the dark. It made no sense. He was an owl. The night was supposed to be his home. His eyes were built to see through it. His wings were built to move silently inside it. But somewhere, deep in his small feathered chest, Orin carried a fear he couldn't explain. Every evening, as the other owlets stretched their wings and prepared to hunt, Orin would find a reason to stay behind. "My wing feels stiff tonight. I already ate enough yesterday. I'll just rest a little longer," his mother noticed. She always noticed. One evening, she sat beside him on their branch and asked gently, "Orin, why do you never fly with the others anymore?" Orin looked down at his talons. "I don't like the dark, Mama." His mother tilted her head, surprised. "But my little one, you are an owl. The dark is not something to fear. The dark is where you were meant to shine." Orin shook his head. "Everything looks bigger in the dark. Every sound feels closer. Every shadow feels like it's watching me." His mother didn't argue. She simply said, "Stay close to the nest then. There is no shame in waiting until you're ready." And so, night after night, Orin waited. He watched his brothers and sisters leave the nest as the sky turned violet, then navy, then black. He listened to their laughter, echoing between the trees, as they chased fireflies and raced each other over the treetops. And every night, he told himself the same thing. "Tomorrow, I'll try tomorrow." But tomorrow kept becoming another tomorrow. Weeks passed this way, then months, while the other owlets grew stronger. Sharper eyes, faster wings, more confident calls. Orin stayed exactly where he was, not because he couldn't grow, but because growth only happens in the place you're avoiding. He began to notice it too. His wings, which should have been growing more powerful with practice, felt weaker from disuse. His eyes, which should have been adjusting more easily to darkness with every flight, still struggled the moment the light disappeared. He was falling behind his own kind, not because he lacked ability, but because he lacked the courage to use it. Then, one night, everything changed. A storm rolled in, from beyond the mountains, sudden, violent, and enormous. Thunder cracked across the sky. Wind tore through the branches. Rain fell in heavy sheets, and within minutes, the ancient tree that held Orin's nest began to groan and sway. His mother's voice rose above the storm. "Orin, the branch is breaking. You have to fly, now." Orin froze. Every instinct in his small body screamed to stay still, to hide, to wait for someone else to fix it. But there was no time. The branch cracked beneath him with a sound like breaking bone, and suddenly, Orin was falling, tumbling through wind and rain and darkness, with no ground beneath him and no light to guide him. For one terrifying second, he thought this was the end. Then something inside him took over. His wings, the wings he had barely used, the wings he thought were too weak, snapped open on instinct. His eyes, the eyes he thought could never adjust, began to catch the smallest traces of light reflecting off the wet leaves below. And for the first time in his life, Orin was flying through the dark, not because he chose to, but because the dark had chosen him. He soared beneath the storm, weaving between branches he could barely see, guided only by instinct and the faint outlines his eyes were finally learning to read. It was terrifying, but it was also, somehow, exactly what his body had been designed for. He landed, soaked and shaking, on a low branch far from his fallen nest, and there, in the middle of the storm, Orin realized something. He hadn't fallen into the dark. He had finally arrived in it. As the storm slowly passed and the forest grew quiet again, Orin sat alone on the unfamiliar branch, catching his breath. That's when he heard a small, panicked squeak coming from a hollow log nearby. He flew down carefully and found a young field mouse trapped beneath a fallen branch, too small to move it on her own. "Please," the mouse whispered, trembling. I can't get out." Under normal circumstances, Orin might have hesitated. He might have told himself someone else would help her, or that it wasn't his place, or that the dark made everything too dangerous to try. But something had shifted in him tonight. He used his talons to carefully lift the branch, just enough for the mouse to slip free. She scurried out, shook the rain from her fur, and looked up at him with wide, grateful eyes. "Thank you," she said. "I thought no one would find me." "It's so dark tonight." Orin looked around at the black forest, the dripping leaves, the shapes he could now see clearly, where before he had only seen fear. "It's not so bad," he said quietly. "Once you get used to it." He meant it for the first time in his life. As dawn approached and the storm clouds finally broke apart, revealing a pale, washed-out sky, Orin made his way back toward his family's tree. He found his mother anxiously waiting on a low branch, his brothers and sisters gathered beside her, all of them searching the horizon. The moment she saw him, his mother's eyes filled with relief. "Orin, you're safe." She flew to him immediately, wrapping her wings around him. "I was so afraid I'd lost you." Orin lowered his head. "I was afraid too, Mama. But I flew. I actually flew. Through the storm, through the dark, all of it." His mother pulled back, studying him. There was something different in the way he stood, something steadier in his eyes. "You didn't just fly," she said softly. "You found yourself." Orin looked toward the forest, now bathed in early morning light, and understood what she meant. The trees didn't look smaller. The world didn't look safer, but he looked at it differently now, not as something to be endured, but as something he was finally capable of facing. From that night forward, Orin didn't stop being cautious. He still checked the weather before flying. He still respected the size and mystery of the forest around him. But he stopped letting fear make every decision on his behalf. He began joining his siblings on their nightly flights. At first, he stayed close to the group, letting their confidence guide him. But slowly, flight by flight, night by night, his own confidence grew. His eyes adjusted faster. His wings grew stronger. His calls, once quiet and hesitant, grew clear and sure across the treetops. Within a season, Orin had become one of the most skilled young hunters in the forest, not despite his fear of the dark, but because he had finally chosen to fly through it instead of around it. Years passed. Orin grew into a strong, respected owl, known throughout the forest for his calm precision and his uncanny ability to navigate even the darkest, stormiest nights. Younger owls would often watch him fly and wonder how he had become so fearless. They didn't know the truth, that he hadn't become fearless at all. He had simply learned that courage was never the absence of fear, it was flying anyway. One autumn evening, as the sky turned that familiar shade of deep violet, Orin noticed a small owlet perched alone at the edge of the nest, staring nervously at the darkening sky, while the others prepared to leave. He recognized that look immediately. He had worn it himself for far too long. He landed gently beside the young owlet. "You're not flying tonight?" he asked. The owlet shook his head, eyes wide. "I don't like the dark. Everything looks bigger. Every sound feels closer." Orin almost smiled. The words were nearly identical to the ones he had once said to his own mother. "I used to feel exactly the same way," he said. The owlet looked up, surprised. "You did? But you're the best flyer in the whole forest." "I wasn't always," Orin said. "For a long time, I stayed on this very branch, telling myself I'd try tomorrow. But tomorrow doesn't teach you anything. Only tonight does." The owlet hesitated. "What if I fall?" "You might," Orin admitted. "I did. The night I finally flew, I didn't choose it. The storm chose it for me. But falling is how I found out my wings actually worked." He nudged the young owlet gently toward the edge of the branch. "You don't have to fly far tonight. You don't have to fly fast. You just have to fly." The owlet took a shaky breath, looked out at the darkening forest, and for the first time, didn't turn away from it. He stepped forward. He opened his wings. And he flew, clumsily, nervously, but he flew, into the very darkness he had spent his whole life avoiding. Orin watched him go, a quiet pride settling in his chest, the same pride his mother must have felt on that stormy night long ago. Because that is how courage truly spreads. Not through lectures, not through warnings, but through someone brave enough to go first, so that someone else finally believes they can go too. So if you're standing at the edge of your own branch tonight, staring at a darkness you've been avoiding for far too long, a hard conversation, a new beginning, a risk you keep postponing, remember Orin. You don't need to feel fearless before you fly. You only need to open your wings and trust that you were built for exactly the storm you're afraid of. Because sometimes, the thing you spend your whole life running from is the exact thing you were always meant to master. If this story meant something to you, share it with someone who's been avoiding their own version of the dark. And if you enjoy meaningful stories with real-life lessons, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you never miss the next one. Remember, your comfort zone will keep you safe, but it will never teach you how to fly.